Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. That's all right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Maryland State House, everybody, and also, as you all see, the home of the Blue Angels practicing right above us. And as we move towards the end of this bill signing season, I want to take a look back at some of the challenges that we had to overcome this year and had to overcome them together. That it wasn't just that this was a legislative season of challenge, it was also a season of change, where the obstacles that we're up against did not change from month to month or from week to week. We all saw they were changing from day to day. That over the past 3 months, we endured the firing of thousands of government workers through Elon Musk's Doge project. That we endured the launch of an unnecessary and ideological trade war with our allies. That we endured the, in many ways, unauthorized cancellation of critical projects like the FBI building in Prince George's County. That we endured a tumbling stock market and the contraction of the American economy for the first time in years. That we endured the start of a regional and a national financial crisis. That we saw Trump downgrades on the credit of Washington, D.C., the credit of the state of Maryland, the credit of institutions like the Smithsonian, and yes, the credit of the United States of America. That the chaos that this new White House has enacted has taken a daily toll on our people and our future, and every single day we saw how it accelerated. We were not in the same place on January 8th when session started as we were once we hit sine die. And truthfully, we are not in the same place right now that we were on sine die. The world has continued to change. We had to be nimble in the face of this uncertainty and be courageous in the face of chaos. This was not just about balancing a budget. It was about weathering two very distinct and individual storms: a financial crisis and a fiscal crisis, and a new White House that is determined to attack our economy. But in Maryland, we do what we always do when the chips are down. We got together and we rallied. And together we have delivered a responsible, balanced budget that meets this moment. We turned a $3 billion inherited deficit into a surplus while still reserving 8% in the rainy day fund above the recommended levels. We made over $2 billion in targeted cuts, which was hard, but it's the largest amount of cuts that we've seen from a Maryland budget in 18 years. And as the Trump administration raised prices, we made sure that for families in Maryland, we did things like cut taxes for the middle class and actually ensured that we have an income tax reform plan that for 94% of Marylanders, they either got a tax cut or saw no changes in their income tax at all. It wasn't easy, it was not simple, and the success does not belong to one person or one group. It belongs to everyone. And I want to thank our team. I want to thank our cabinet. I want to thank our DBM secretary for the hard work that she continues to do. I want to thank our chief of staff, Fagan Harris, and our deputy chiefs of staff. I want to thank Jeremy Baker and the outstanding legislative team. I want to thank Eric Lukey. I want to thank everybody within the Moore Miller administration for their work. I want to thank our presiding officers, Senate President Ferguson and also Speaker Jones, and all of their staff. I want to thank all the members of the General Assembly for all the hard work they put in, and I specifically want to thank our chairs, Chair Atterbury, Chair Barnes, Chair Gazzone, all of the stakeholders who testified on behalf of this year's budget through the legislative session and who helped us to refine our vision. Because what I do know is that the decisions that we're making in this state do not fall neatly in partisan red or blue lines. We care more about solving problems than we do scoring points. And we know that the strategy is working. That just in the past 2 years, we've created, along with the private sector and our private sector partners, around 100,000 new jobs, more in the past 2 years than our predecessor created in 2 terms. We brought unemployment to national lows and brought job growth to national highs. And in the face of the chaos from Washington, D.C., the rating agency Fitch affirmed Maryland's AAA bond rating. We refuse to slow our progress in growing Maryland's economy and winning the decade. And in addition to our budget, I want to highlight just a few bills that don't just help us just to survive this moment, but help us to thrive. The first, I want to talk about a bill that I introduced in January called the Procurement Reform Act. Now, procurement reform is not sexy. It doesn't even roll off your tongue sexy. But it is absolutely essential in delivering economic growth and building pathways to work, wages, and wealth. This legislation expands the Small Business Reserve Program so our small businesses are not sidelined by massive organizations. We are empowering the departments of veterans and military families to set aside contracts for businesses for veterans run by veterans. We're ensuring that minority-owned contractor participation goals are binding when modifications are made to contracts. We're ensuring that our largest contractors hire partners and workers that reflect the full and beautiful diversity of the state of Maryland. And we are updating the application process, so we stop penalizing small technical mistakes that largely disadvantage small, Black-owned, minority, and women-owned businesses. This legislation will ensure that our small and minority-owned businesses compete on an even playing field. And I'm very proud to sign this bill into law today. Second, I want to thank Speaker Jones for her leadership on House Bill 1253, establishing the State Office of Social and Economic Mobility. Her legislation creates a new cabinet-level agency that will ensure we uphold our commitment to equity in the state of Maryland. It will be the nerve center of our work to narrow the racial wealth gap, expand home ownership, uplift entrepreneurs of color, and close the foundational disparities that contribute to inequality from food insecurity to education. These are the issues I fought for before I was sworn in as governor, before I even thought about the idea of running for governor. And they're the priorities our administration will continue to address with increased focus and intentionality. And so, Madam Speaker, we're not just excited to get this agency up and running. I'm thankful for the chance to make sure that we're going to get this right. So our work to protect Marylanders from the ravages that we are seeing from our neighbors to the south is only just the beginning. But if there's one thing we were able to prove in this session, it is this, that in Maryland, we can look that challenge squarely in the face and refuse to blink, because we will meet crisis with courage. You don't just sit here in the State House on bill signing day by the charity of others. You get here because we agreed to do the work. And so while it is my signature that will enact these bills into law, it's all of your hands that hold the pen. I'm talking about Marylanders like Vinnie DeMarco, who has been a champion for affordable health care for decades, who was here in Annapolis and who came to Annapolis all throughout session to call for an expansion of the Maryland Prescription Drug Affordability Board, and today we will sign that bill into law. Vinnie, your fingerprints are all over the history of our state, and we're grateful. We're talking about Marylanders like Mia Russell, who came to Annapolis to advocate for a bill that ensures that we have AEDs in our public libraries. This legislation is called the Raimondo Russell Act, named after her late husband. And today, we will sign that bill into law. Mia, can you please raise your hand or stand so we can acknowledge you? Your fingerprints are all over the history of this state. I'm talking about Marylanders like Blanca and Michael, and Joseph and Gypsy, and the family and loved ones of Agent Davis Martinez. Agent Martinez was a victim of a horrific crime, and he lost his life in the service of the state of Maryland. But his family and his loved ones turned that pain into purpose. They came to Annapolis to advocate for legislation that would help ensure what happened to Davis would never happen to anyone ever again. And they proved what it means to be Maryland strong, to look tragedy in the eyes and say, we can't rewrite the past, but we can change the future. Today, I'm proud to sign the Davis Martinez Public Employee Safety and Health Act into law. In the spirit of service and progress, I would like to call up Davis's family to join me up here while I present them with today's first ceremonial pens, because their fingerprints are all over the history of this state. God bless you all, and thank you for making us better. I now have the honor of turning the podium over to my friend and partner in the work, our Lieutenant Governor, Aruna Miller.
Governor, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor to be here with all of you. The bill signed today will bring closure to 2025 legislative session. Each bill represents months, if not years, of hard work and collaboration. So thank you to everyone who brought these bills to life. And we have so many wins, as Governor Moore talked about earlier. We took a budget deficit, $3.3 billion, that was a decade in the making, and turned it into a $300 million surplus. And in the past 2.5 years, we created over 100,000 jobs, more than the previous administration added in 8. And we've achieved one of the lowest unemployment rates in the nation. And finally, we've seen the most significant drop in violent crime in more than a decade. With the statewide homicide down 32% since 2021. These wins belong to every one of you, as the governor said. And this kind of progress doesn't just happen. It takes vision, it takes conviction, and it takes a leader who doesn't flinch when the moment gets hard. Governor Moore has been that leader. Governor, Thank you so much for your extraordinary leadership. And as we celebrate the progress we've made, we also pause to reflect that this Memorial Day, we prepare as a nation to remember those who gave their lives in service to others, not just in the uniforms they wore, but in the lives they led. In that reflection, we're reminded of a deeper truth. Love is service, not emotion. It's not just a feeling, but a commitment. It's how we show up for our families, for our communities, for each other. Maryland parole agent Davis Giovanni Martinez understood that. And at just 33 years old, Agent Martinez was killed in the line of duty. He was the son of proud immigrants. And like so many children of immigrants, he carried deep responsibility with quiet devotion, helping care for his brother Joseph. Yes, you. Loving his brother Michael, Gypsy, and all the family members, supporting his mother Blanca, and building a life of service rooted in love and purpose. He was the first in his family to graduate from college, a milestone he reached not just with great determination, but with a deep sense of duty to those who came before him. To the Martinez family, your loss is immeasurable. Maryland holds you deep in our hearts and our prayers. And today, through the Davis Martinez Public Employees Safety and Health Act, we honored your loved one's memory by strengthening the protections for the men and women who serve us each and every single day. To Senator Kramer and Delegate Solomon, thank you for sponsoring this bill. As a fellow Montgomery County resident, I know this loss is deeply personal. So this Memorial Day, may we remember that freedom is never free. It's built on the sacrifices of those who gave everything, not just for our country, but for each of us. May their example remind us, even in the hardest moments, we are called to show up with love, act with courage, and stand up for one another. Let us live in a way that honors the sacrifices that they made for us and by us. Thank you. And now it's my great pleasure to bring to the podium Senate President Bill Ferguson.
Thank you, Madam Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, Mr. Governor, and it's always a pleasure to be here with my partner in the work, Speaker Jones. To the Martinez family, I just want to say I am so unbelievably sorry for your loss, and the state of Maryland truly grieves with you. Your loved one is representative of the thousands and thousands of dedicated state workers that show up to work every single day to serve others, and we are so deeply sorry for your loss. And we hope that this piece of legislation that will soon become law is one small step to honor your loved one's memory in the name of the thousands of public servants that show up for Maryland every single day. Thank you for being here with us today, and we hope that we can do you proud as we implement this to its fullest extent and protect others from the horrific harms that your loved one had to face. It's always hard to transition from that, but it does matter that this sense of service and purpose is what brings us all here together. This is our final bill hearing, our bill signing of the 2025 session, one that was by far the most challenging one that I certainly have experienced in my 15 years, and that continues to be incredibly difficult because of the uncertainty that we see and the volatility that's coming out of Washington. Before I go too much further, I do want to say thank you to those who I have the honor of working with on an everyday basis. If the Senate chairs, subcommittee chairs, and members could either just please stand or raise your hands that if you're already standing, and just I just want to say thank you. It is truly the honor of a lifetime to work with such talented elected officials who are the leaders that Maryland has needed in this time of unbelievable uncertainty, and have fought to find ways to balance competing interests and move these big issues forward this year. We did a lot of important work, and we'll celebrate a number of those, from the prescription drug affordability bill that Senator Guile had a huge part in leading, that all members of the General Assembly were able to push forward. But we knew at the beginning we had two jobs to accomplish. One was to do our constitutional duty of passing a balanced budget, and the second was to leave Annapolis having been able to effectively deal with the challenge that is the rising costs of electricity. I'm very pleased to say that in this case, the two main objectives of the 2025 session have been achieved, and is because of the work that we were able to do together. You heard from the governor and the lieutenant governor a number of points about this balanced budget. I think it's important to remind folks where we were, taking a $3.3 billion deficit and turning it into what ended up being a $2.4 billion cash reserve and surplus. Thank you to the Secretary and for all of the members of the General Assembly who worked together. This was not easy. It was challenging. There was not a single easy decision as part of how to make this possible. And it was done with $2 billion in cuts and $1.2 billion of targeted revenue proposals. This yielded 94%, as the governor said, of Marylanders who will pay the same or less in personal income taxes, and fairly attributes dollars to other places across our economy. What is really important is what this budget actually represents. It's serving about $1.5 million, 1.5 million Marylanders through Medicaid. We have an increase, despite this, the challenges, of 7.3% of spending for our public school systems, our competitive advantage. We're spending $500 million dedicated to transportation and aging infrastructure, $181 million restored for the developmental disabilities community, $139 million to grow our private sector economy, $120 million in police aid, and finally $100 million to fight climate pollution, things that we know are absolutely essential, and billions of dollars more to make government work well. The other objective that we had this year was to deal with the skyrocketing cost of energy. Marylanders at this winter received unacceptably high energy bills. This wasn't just a temporary spike, it was a wake-up call for the challenges that we face as demand for electricity continues to rise. We know that older coal plants and oil plants are being retired based on private action, and we have not built up enough alternative energy to fill it fast enough, and so the General Assembly had to act. This year, we passed the most substantive energy affordability package that Maryland has seen in several decades. First, with the Next Generation Energy Act, Senate Bill 937, we're putting money back into the pockets of Marylanders. A $200 million refund that's an average of $80 per household, split between the highest points of energy consumption of the year in the height of summer and the height of winter. We're also accelerating the development of cleaner, in-state energy sources, reducing our reliance on imported energy. We're capping utility gas spending, ensuring that multi-year rate plans are good for customers, not just for utilities and companies. And we're removing the polluting waste incineration from our renewable energy incentives. Another important component, one that I know that the chair of our EEE committee, as well as our chair of economic matters, spent a great deal of time, was making sure that the data centers that are being built and these large energy consumers, that they pay their fair share as they become a part of our economy. We also passed the Renewable Energy Certainty Act, Senate Bill 931, which is providing a clear path forward for solar and battery storage projects to eliminate local barriers and allow local government to join in community solar programs. It is essential that we have more affordable and cleaner Maryland-made energy. As we face the challenges of this year, I do want to highlight one last piece, and that is one of our most important job-creating aspects that our chair of the Capital Budget Subcommittee says all the time. The biggest job-creating bill that we pass every single year is Maryland's capital budget. And our capital budget we did in the way that Marylanders should be proud of, with strength and with hammers in hand. From hospitals to highways, from classrooms to cultural centers, we are laying the foundation for Maryland's futures with dollars in the ground. Our capital budget tops $5 billion, which is an investment in the people and places that make Maryland strong. Ladies and gentlemen, together as a team, we chose long-term stability over short-term gain. We chose clean, more reliable energy over short-term fixes. And as always, we chose to put Marylanders first. Colleague in this work that I just am so grateful to be able to work with on a regular basis, Speaker Adrian Jones.
Good afternoon, everyone. And before I start, to follow you, if you're a member of the House of Delegates, either stand or wave your hand. Thank you. As we sign our final list of bills for the year, we put our final mark on the work undertaken by the by this legislature during the 2025 legislative session. This work was done thoughtfully. It was done responsibly, and it was done with purpose. This work stands in stark contrast to the legalizations we are witnessing in Washington, D.C. Unfortunately, we knew this instability was coming, and that we in the General Assembly had to show there was a better path forward. So before session began, I started working on House Bill 1253 to protect historically disenfranchised communities in our state, to provide them with better access to a centralized hub that can connect them with resources and economic opportunities, to form one cabinet-level agency to oversee all social equity programs in our state, as the governor mentioned earlier. And today, I am proud that we are signing this legislation into law to establish the Maryland Department of Social and Economic Mobility. When we say social and economic mobility, let's be very clear that what we are talking about. We are talking about the strength of our diversity. We're talking about promoting equity, and we are talking about creating inclusion in all spaces. I'm not afraid to say it because, for me, this bill is personal. I've lived through the policies of enclosure. I've walked on to an unlevel playing field. I've been kept out of rooms, meetings, and buildings solely because of my race and gender. We've come a long way since these times because of policies signed in this room, and I refuse to let us go back. Today, that promise also extends to the immigrant communities in our state. We know the fear felt in Maryland's immigrant communities is real right now. So this session, we passed House Bill 1222, the Maryland Values Act, to institute some protections for immigrant enforcement in our state. Here's the bottom line. Marylanders should feel safe while seeking medical care, pursuing education, and going to church. I want to thank Judiciary Chair Luke Clippinger, Vice Chair Sandy Bartlett, Majority Leader David Moon, and Delegate Nicole Williams for all their work on this important piece of legislation. But as we see this as we see the suspension of due process and as we see a continued erosion of basic human dignity in our immigrant communities, we know this work is far from over. Regardless of what happens on the federal level with immigration, with health care, and with other social safety nets over the next several months, the leaders in this room are ready to act now and act fast to protect the state and its values. We know that responsible governing is a real answer to chaos and dysfunction, and that the work of public service can still make a real difference. And with that, let's sign these bills.
We have enough people, we're going to squeeze in 2 rows. If you can squeeze into a second row here.
Come this way, please.
Folks in the second row, please squeeze all the way through if you could. Squeeze all the way through if you could. I know it's a tight fit. So we're going to have to squeeze in on this end of the table at the end of the photo. So you'll all have to cuddle up a little bit. Good job. These eyes on the camera.
All right, make sure you are stationed in between the person in front of you, not right behind them. And gentlemen in the light blue suit, can you scoot just perfect? I want to see that beautiful lady right behind you. Thank you so much. Can we look right here? House Bill 500. Thank you very, very much. Next bill, please. If you could exit to the left, let's go right.
House Bill 350, government fiscal year 2026.
All right, folks, this way, please.
Sal, Spiegel. You guys like hiding from the budget bill picture? Grading the budget chairs in the center of the photo.
And the step.
Yep. Everyone else around the plate. Guys, you all right here are, you all are in the pictures.
66 billion.
There's the picture.
67.
All right, everyone else needs to move around behind the group in the middle, please.
Come around this way, please. Get all this room over here. Keep coming, folks. Keep coming.
Keep coming. All right, folks, take 2 rows. Make sure you can see the camera from where you're at. All right, at the second row, please step to your right a little bit here. If you step to your right, there's still some room. Folks can squeeze through. You might be able to fit it.
Eric,
No, we're doing 2. All right.
yeah, the budget chairs are staying in row 2.
Okay. Yeah, we can squeeze. We can squeeze. We can fit you guys.
A little bit more, please, a little bit more.
A little bit more.
More, okay. The lady right behind the gentleman is up there. You go. I can see your eyes. That's better. Thank you very much. Right here, please, and thank you. Now, Bill, 350. You're the hero. Thank you very much. Next bill, please. Everybody exit to your right.
Hold on, wait.
Yeah, I'll stay 351. Capital budget bill.
Thank you very much.
So, folks, we're going to do the capital budget picture since all of you are going to be in that picture too, and then we're going to pull everyone out except the secretary and the budget chairs for a separate shot. Okay? So let's put up the capital budget.
House Bill 351. House Bill 351. Perfect. Thank you very much. Next bill, please.
Okay, we're going back to the budget bill.
352.
Oh, vertical also, sorry.
House Bill 352, budget for fiscal year 2025.
All right, what we got? House Bill 352. This one's for you. Perfect. Next bill, please.
Now everyone can go. Except for the budget chair.
I'll get this budget passed, all I got is a pen.
All right. Let's look at the cell phone over here on our left. Thank you very much. If you can find that, sir. Slide back just a bit. Thank you very much. Right here. 350. You're the hero. Thank you so very much. Next bill, please.
Yeah, sorry, Joe. That was a cell phone, Joe.
House Bill 352, social economic ability established.
Special session.
All the representatives get everyone, all right?
House Bill 1253. Look at me right here. Up here. Thank you very much. Right here, please, and thank you. Well done. Next bill, please.
House Bill 1503, state personnel, aid, and medical leave.
This way, please.
Still there?
House Bill 1503. Please look at me, right here. The gentleman, gotcha. Thank you so very much. Next bill, please.
The next one is Public Employee Relations Act. Alterations. They want public.
This way, Public Employee Relations Act. Are you all running that? Yes.
Yeah. We're still out.
Everyone, eyes on the camera, please.
Senate Bill 231 right here, please, and thank you. Thank you. Next bill, please. Everybody exit to your right.
This way, please.
Senate Bill 26, House Bill 1. Health Act.
Folks, if you could make room for the family, be in the center of the shop, please.
Yes, we are.
Stay close.
Yeah.
Folks, let's make sure to squeeze in. All right here. We'll be fine. Come down, look back. Okay, everyone, eyes on the camera, please.
Senate Bill 26 right here, please, and thank you. You guys are amazing. Next bill, please. You could exit to your right.
Senate Bill 357, House Bill 424.
Thank you so much.
Suspension of building boards. Costs for all buildings now.
This way, please. Do you have another bill? Oh, yes, please. Thank you so much. This way, please. Okay, folks, let's have the sponsors and chairs and Vinny in the center here. Everybody else can work their way around.
Love our governor.
Okay, let's squeeze in the second row, please. Squeeze in the second row. You can come around behind the sponsors here. Come around behind, please. Are you all here for the prescription drug report to look at? I'm not going to be able to see you if you're past the end here. So let's squeeze in a little bit this way. It's all turned. Yeah. Turn sideways and make a little bit more space.
Listen, it's very bad on your toes. You got a little bit of.
Joe, we got a couple more here. Let me bring them around. Come around to the other end. Around the other end. Thank you.
Everybody, eyes right here, please. 357. Thank you very much. The lady right behind the lady in the blonde hair, come over just. I want to see all that beautiful face. Thank you so much. Right here again. Oh yeah, we got you guys good. Thank you so very much. Please exit to your left. Or to your right. All right.
Busy day.
Please exit to your right. Please exit to your right unless you're in the next bill.
House Bill 593. From the libraries,
Hold on. The back of your head, look at that. The same haircut. We were the same ball. No. But we could. Exactly.
Thank you. All right, folks. Thank you so much.
How are you? Good to see you.
Next bill, please. Thank you. All right, folks. Need everybody to exit to their right, please, so we can get the next bill in.
Sure you are.
You're not
Right there in the blue.
sponsors,
Lovely lady. She gave me this haircut.
You can take two.
Come down this way, folks. Come down this way. Come down this way. Come on. Keep coming. Get all this area.
There's plenty of space on the other side. Ma'am, you can stay right here in the side. Everybody else can work your way around a little bit so we can fit everyone in.
Thank you, sir.
All right, folks, if you squeeze in here, there's plenty of room for everyone. Squeeze in a little bit more on this side, please. Squeeze in a little bit more on this side. Good. All right, make sure you can see the camera
I'm not gonna be able to get
where
out.
you're at.
Yeah.
Bill 369. You are looking fine. Thank you very much. You all look great. Thank you. Next bill, please. Good afternoon.
All right, folks, please, this way. This way, please. Thank you so much. There's House Bill 1301, House Bill 1301.